Lauren, this time last week, we were in the middle of sharing with you the aftermath of a heinous act of violence. Indy's mayor calling the mass shooting at the FedEx facility on our city's southwest side, he called it senseless.
Raphael, we are all still trying to come to grips with the mass shooting that left 8 people dead. Now their grieving families are trying to heal. Our Kelsey Anderson is live this morning, and she's sharing their stories and how family and friends want them to be remembered. Kelsey.
Well, we told you last week that it took hours for the families of the victims to learn their loved ones were not coming home. And now this week they've been telling us their stories so they can make sure that those loved ones are honored and remembered. These are their names and faces: Samantha Blackwell, Amarjeet Singh, Matthew Alexander, Jos Singh, John Weisert, and Carly Smith. 74-year-old John Weisert, known as Steve to his family and friends, was nearing a major milestone, his wife pushing him to retire so they could travel this summer to celebrate 50 years of marriage. Weisert's son told the New York Times his father was a kind and decent man who was dedicated to providing and protecting his loved ones. 32-year-old Matthew Alexander. His family says he didn't say much, but when it came to sports, he would talk your leg off, especially if it was about the St. Louis Cardinals, the St. Louis Blues, Indiana Pacers, and the Buffalo Bills. He shared his love of baseball with his dad, and they say Matt was known as Mr. Automatic in high school because he could throw strikes and had a nasty curveball. Matt's legacy will live on in the Avon baseball program with the Matt Alexander Memorial Scholarship Fund.
This way, Matt coached from heaven, and he could assist in kids having the love, the passion, the kindness, the ability and the knowledge to play the game and respect the game. And if you go back and you talk to Matt's coaches over the years, they will tell you that Matt respected the game of baseball.
Another athlete, 19-year-old Samantha Blackwell, was known as intelligent, fun-loving, and tenacious. The basketball and soccer player was known as Stitches by her teammates because even after a trip to the hospital, she wanted to get back on the court.
On the court, she'd put a mouth guard on and be the meanest looking girl out there. Step off the court, mouth guard out. She's got this beautiful smile that was just fun loving. And she just cared about people. And so that was Samaria in a nutshell, tenacious, but also kind and gracious.
She cared for the elderly, animals, and helping people. The reason she wanted to be a police officer. The Avon Police Department now collecting patches for Stitches from agencies across the country, a tradition for fallen officers. Blackwell was one of the 2 victims still in their teens. 19-year-old Carly Smith had just finished her first week on the job. Her mom telling us she was on her way to pick Carly up. Bubbly, happy, and always smiling. That's how Carly is remembered by her family. Even with 9 siblings, Carly welcomed anyone into her life and made them family.
The type of person to just, care and make sure everybody's okay. And even if she did meet new people, that's just another person to add to the family.
Her best friend Jasmine saying the best way to honor Carly's life is to love unconditionally.
Spend time with your family, tell them you love them, cherish every moment with them. Because you don't know when they can be gone. You don't know what people in this world are capable of.
48-year-old Amarjeet Singh and 50-year-old Jasvinder Kaur were related. Amarjeet was known as a hard worker, the breadwinner in her family. Her brother-in-law telling ABC News she was a workaholic, always working. She never sat still. Jaswinder is described as a charming woman, a great cook, a bubbly person you could always joke with.
They were hardworking individuals. All they did was go to work. We had a party at our house for Jaswinder's granddaughter. We were all supposed to come back home and start decorating, and we had this huge celebration planned. But instead, we're here in mourning. We're just in disbelief.
66-year-old Amarjeet Johal celebrated her birthday last Thursday. She usually doesn't work at that time, but she was working a double so she could be with her family the next day.
She was doing a second shift so that she could have the next day, that is Friday, off. to attend that party or gathering that was taking place here. And so she was there to collect her paycheck and also work the second shift.
68-year-old Jos Singh was always smiling and loved meeting new people. When he was out walking the trails at local parks, he would stop and talk to families and kids. His family jokes he walks so fast it looked like he was running. His nephew saying he was loved by everyone.
We all love this guy. Just when he always smiling, he always loved everyone. I didn't listen even one word, bad word from his mouth in whole life. He loved everyone. Always smiling. When he see you, he have a big smile.
Anybody who has been hurt or anything, we mourn for all.
The group, who practice the 5th largest religion in the world, Sikhs, are tightly knit. When tragedy strikes one member, it affects them all.
We go everywhere. We're all one family. So if there's tragedy has occurred in a particular side of the town, we're all together.
Now, there is a GoFundMe posted for the victims and their families. FedEx already making a $1 million donation. You can see that link right now to that GoFundMe page on WRTV.com. That's also where you can learn more about those victims and how you can support their families, the survivors of this mass shooting, and also the entire community. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.